Corker standing by, and we're thankful that he has stayed with us as we've been listening to the two world leaders. Senator, it has been a busy couple days for you, including the big vote last night. We need a new Secretary of State, and that vote now goes to the Senate floor. As we watch these two leaders, and we know they will be heading into a noon hour meeting together, bilateral meeting. We'll hear from both again later today as they conclude their remarks. Senator, your thoughts as you look on at this moment?
You know, I talked to the president this morning before he went out to deliver his remarks, and I have to say I think both leaders, I probably would not have listened if I wasn't waiting for this program to come on. I'm glad that I did, because I thought both of their comments were outstanding, and I think it bodes well for the future. I really think they've acquitted themselves very, very well this morning.
What particularly struck you, Senator?
I just think I think the aspirational nature of it, and the bond that we have, and the difficulties that both of our nations and the people that we all have to deal with. So again, I think they both have delivered a great speech. I thought last night, by the way, moving to that, Mike Pompeo, I think, is going to be an outstanding Secretary of State. As I told the president this morning, he'll be the first Secretary of State since I've been here that actually has the kind of relationship with the president where it's one of trust, where they listen to each other, and I think that'll bode well for our country.
You know, I think I could probably speak for most of the American people when we looked on last evening, Senator, and saw that much needed and welcome moment of bipartisanship in the Senate. I know that was a moment that affected you very much.
It did, still does. Look, Chris Coons did what senators are supposed to do, and I'm so proud of him. I talked to him multiple times yesterday. I know that he came to the Senate, like myself and many others, to make a difference, and he did so last night, and I'm really happy for him. I'm sure he'll catch some grief by members, by people on the left, but he did what a senator's supposed to do. Mike Pompeo now will move with a positive recommendation to the Senate floor, and you know, it would have been historic for him to have gone with a negative recommendation. So something good for our country happened last night. It was done in a bipartisan way. Our committee, as you know, is an island of bipartisanship here in the Capitol, and I'm really proud of the way the committee operates. And
some of the pressing issues that we face today, including the discussion that these two world leaders are about to have, the Iran nuke deal. As we look on at Macron and President Trump, we know that they have forged quite a relationship. There is a warmth between the two of them, but they have disagreement on several very important issues, including the Iran nuke deal. It is expected that Macron will try to convince the president, who says that is the worst deal he has ever seen, a horrible deal. He is expected to convince President Trump to stay in that deal.
Yeah, I think the issue, though, is the sunset clause. I think that, you know, we're working with the French, German, and UK leaders to deal with the ballistic testing issue and also the inspections issue. What the president wants to see happen, though, is doing away with the sunset provisions that really, after year 10, calls Iran to be off and running. And I think if we can get some work done there, maybe the president decides to stay in the agreement. But it'll take Macron, Merkel, and also Prime Minister May to come along with creating a framework that's better than what we have now.
Syria will also be a big discussion. The Syrian civil war, the French President Macron has weighed in on this. He believes in keeping a military presence there, and we have recently heard the president say he intends to pull our military from Syria, although he circled back on that.
He did.
What do you expect that discussion to be?
Well, I was really glad that Mattis intervened. We've got 2,200 troops in Syria that are giving intelligence and logistical support to the Kurds, which are doing all the fighting. We have lost one soldier, which is one too many. The Kurds have lost 4,000 soldiers. They're now being attacked by both Turkey and Syria, and we need to finish the work that we got. We need to finish the work there. You heard them both talking about terrorism just a moment ago. If you think about the 2016 race, Sandra, it was all about ISIS, and now we've taken their footprint down to just 5% of what it was at that time. So we need to finish that work. We do not need to our troops do not need to leave until we've completed our work. Otherwise, it'll be just like what happened in other countries when we left too soon. But we'll be finished with that activity, hopefully in the near future.
And we just saw the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, his wife, the president of the United States, Donald Trump, and his wife, Melania, waved goodbye and headed back into the White House, where serious business will be discussed between the two ahead of the president and the first lady hosting their first formal state dinner tonight. Senator, North Korea, the upcoming summit will also be discussed likely between these two. Are we making progress on that front? I know that you have said charming North Korea into getting rid of nuclear weapons is not realistic.
Yes. So it's going to take a lot of work. This young dictator knows that if he has a deliverable nuclear weapon, his fate will not be the same as Gaddafi's, who gave up his nuclear weapons and obviously is now a dead man. So it's not going to happen through charm. It's going to happen through continued pressure on our part. That's the policy of this administration, which I support. I do think that Mike Pompeo, having gone there, I think people now realize our back channel to North Korea has always been through the intelligence community. That's why Pompeo being there was the right thing. I think with him on board, with John Bolton on board, I think we can do some realistic things there, but it's going to take some time for that to happen. But I'm glad the two leaders are talking. I think that's progress. Obviously, Kim Jong-un has learned a little bit about public relations and certainly is putting his best foot forward. But I know the administration understands that's what it is and understands there's a lot of tough work ahead.
If you don't believe that negotiations are possible with him because we can't charm him out of his nuclear weapons, I hear you say you're happy to see that the two leaders will be meeting. But
Right.
Is it possible to make real progress then with Kim Jong-un if he can't be trusted?
Well, he cannot be trusted, but I think he also has to look at his future. And this administration, through Secretary Tillerson and Mattis and Mnuchin, have done a tremendous job in putting pressure on him through working with people in the region and our allies. So, you know, he's very pressured right now. Don't get me wrong. I think that we can make real progress. All I'm saying is it's not going to be a one and done kind of thing. It's going to take a tremendous amount of work, steady progress, steady pressure, increasing pressure. But again, I'm happy that these meetings are taking place.
Senator, if you could just wrap things up for us here as you were listening on to the two world leaders meeting at the White House here, and sort of what this moment means for the country with the few seconds that we have left.
Look, the Europeans have been our closest allies. The French people have been the longest. And I think it speaks to unity that's good for our country, good for people of the West, good for people who believe in democracy and human rights and strength. And I'm happy that this meeting is taking place in the manner that it is.
It's been a roller coaster couple of days. Senator Bob Corker, chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, we're happy for your time this morning, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.